We're live. Welcome back for episode
I think 7.
7.
Yeah, I mean, we haven't posted 7, but we have done
We
7.
have done 7.
And we'll just keep it like that.
We got to clean up the old ones, or maybe we'll reshoot them. We'll see what happens with those.
Yeah,
but
no doubt.
anyway,
Even though
officially the third episode.
officially the third episode, even though we've. Sorry, I'm drawing a blank now. Sorry.
That's all right. That's what we're here for. It's not pretty. It's not perfect. It's not edited, cut up, beautiful content. But we're just getting the reps in.
That's what I was going to say. Even though you think it might be sloppy now, you should have seen the ones before. There's levels to this for sure.
Yes, we have improved greatly.
If you don't know who we are, I'm Matthew Davis. I'm here on First State Home Team, newer agent. Rakan Abazar, team leader of our team, First State Home Team here at the Wilmington Keller Williams here in Delaware. So what are we talking about?
Well, today, Matt, we're going to build out a business plan to sell 30 homes a year, working 30 hours a week.
Okay, awesome.
Right? I know it's a bold claim, but it's doable.
Well, if there's someone to talk about it, it's probably yourself, right?
Yeah, and we're going to walk you through it here live. We're going to build it out, answer any questions you have about it, and go from there.
Yeah, this is perfect that I'm here for this because this plan really should be for me. I'm not selling 30 homes yet.
Mm-hmm.
So
you're on your way, though.
I am on my way.
Yep.
You know what I mean? All
right, so guys, horrendous handwriting. My handwriting looks like a serial killer, so Matt's going to take
Not that mine's much better, but
yeah,
it's definitely better than that.
All right, so what do we do, Matt? We do a 1-3-5, right?
First, we'll say 30 sales,
Mm-hmm.
right? 1-3-5.
Yep.
How do you want me to write that? So
you do the one main goal, 30 sales, 30 hours a week.
Okay. With the 30 hours right next to it.
Yep, that's fine.
Got it. So 30 sales, 30 hours.
Yep.
Got it, which is our 1.
That's your one main goal. Okay?
Got it.
Now you're going to break it down into 3 buckets to achieve that goal.
Got it.
So write 3 lines there.
Yeah, so we'll just do...
And you're familiar with this. We talk about it all the time, right?
We talk about it all the time. Okay, got it. So your 3 buckets as in lead generation buckets?
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
Yep. And for you guys who aren't familiar, if you're not KW, 1-3-5 is basically just like a business planning, like a 1-page business plan, goal setting kind of like strategy.
Framework.
Yep, framework, exactly. So you start with your one main goal at the top. You have 3 strategies to achieve that goal. And then you have underneath 5 tactics to achieve that strategy, right?
Got it.
So it's chunking it down. You start with the end goal, the big goal. You chunk it down into the 3 main things you need to focus on. And then you break it down into like daily repeatable habits.
Got it.
Cool?
Yep. So reverse engineering 30 sales.
Yep.
Okay.
So what's our first bucket there?
I know what our first bucket is.
Uh-huh.
First bucket is most definitely SOI and referral.
Yep.
SOI/referral. Got it.
Cool. So we're going to do 10 from that bucket. You want to write 10 up there?
Yeah. So we want 10 sales.
Mm-hmm. All right. Next bucket.
Okay. Let's see. Advertising marketing.
Do prospecting there.
Prospecting. It's like cold prospecting.
Yep.
Got it.
Cool. So you're going to do 10 from prospecting. And we're going to break these down, guys.
I mean, keep in mind, right? Like this one might end up being 9. This one might be 11. This one might be 10, right?
Yep.
Or one way, but like just group it down to a goal that makes sense.
We're building a framework here. If you get into business and maybe you have a big network, maybe you own another business or you've lived in the area your whole life and you know a lot of people and you're involved in PTA and you're a soccer mom and like all these different organizations and stuff, you might crush it with SOI and referral. But we're building this how it probably would have worked for me and how it's going to work for you, right? Somebody who's younger, getting in the business that doesn't have a huge network already.
Got it.
Cool.
Okay.
And then you know what's up here?
Advertising marketing.
Yep.
Got it. Uh-oh.
Your handwriting's so much better than mine.
And even then, they're going to be like, this is what we're settling for? This handwriting?
It's not too bad.
Right.
All right. So remember, guys, we're building this out live, real time. We just talked about this like 20 minutes ago. So we're kind of doing it on the fly as we go, right?
Yeah, in a way. Yeah.
So
And this
first,
one's also going to have 10
Yep.
sales.
10 sales there.
Got it.
Cool. So SOI referral, right?
Okay.
How can we build a database of people that know, like, and trust us, that we can stay in front of in a value-driven, non-salesy way, such that when they're ready to make a move, you're the first person at the top of their mind?
Right. So is this like the first thing I should do, or is this the ways that I'm staying in touch with them?
Well, it's going to include all of them, right? So, but what would be the first thing to put your database together?
I mean, what's the first thing to put my database together? What I'm thinking of is what we usually do,
Mhm.
as in export your contacts.
Yep.
Is that what the answer you're looking for?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yep. So first, just build your database, right? Let's talk about how you do that. So we have an SOP built out on the team. If you're interested, shoot me a message. I'm happy to send it and share it to you guys. First thing you do is export your whole phone contact list. Okay, it's going to export it to an Excel sheet. Next, you're going to go through your social media: Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, anywhere you have connections with people that you know, like, and trust, and you're going to export those people as well. Okay.
Social media contacts.
Mm-hmm. Now you're going to add people that maybe you don't have their contact information for, right? So a perfect example is Mark on our team is crushing it with people from his church. He's helped probably 4 or 5 people just in the last 60 days from his church, and he didn't have contact info for any of them, right? But he knew them. They knew him. They liked him. They trusted him. But he just never had a reason to have their phone number or their email, right? So we'll talk about how you can get that contact info on the next strategy. But this is where you start, getting it all onto paper and building out your database.
Yeah. Okay.
Cool.
I mean, if we're still talking about the database, then do you want to just continue with this? Because this is what the database is.
Yeah, we're going to go all the way down.
Got it.
Yep.
Okay.
Cool. So you're going to export it.
Step 1.
Yep. So how are you going to format this contact info? So you want first name, last name, email, phone number, mailing address, notes, like, do they have kids that are getting older? Maybe they're going to be empty nesters soon, what the downsides, just kind of general notes about like what your relationship is to them.
Right.
Notes about their family, stuff like that, right? And then you're going to add them on social media as well. So like Instagram, Facebook, wherever you're at, right? You're going to put this all in an Excel sheet. We have a template built out for that where you can put all the info. And then you just put what you have for now, and then you start working on filling it in. Right. So next one is when you start filling all that information in, right?
Got it.
So you've got this database. Let's say you've got 300 people or so. You should have about 300. Most people know at least 300 people, right?
Right. If you're pulling from social media and just thinking about people that you should know,
Yeah.
right? Think much like your mom's friend that you don't have the contact for, but you know the first name, so you put it in the Excel sheet. You put her first name, then you ask your mom, "Hey, what was her last name again?" Okay, awesome. Like then you go find her on social media. Then maybe you DM her on social media, be like, blah blah blah, like whatever it is.
It could be.
Or ask whoever that mutual person is, like, hey, do you have their number? Like, I just wanted to, talk to him or whatever.
Yeah.
Not that you have to be salesy, but it depends on the situation.
Yeah, we'll talk about a couple ways to work that, right? So first way to work that is client events, right? That's a big one for us. So on our team, we do currently 4 client events a year.
So really, should I write, let's just say, how many touches do you think we do?
We probably do about 50.
Okay, so could I write 50 touches and then all the ways?
Yeah, that's fine. You can build it out that way.
Really, I should have gave myself
a little more
is
room
it
there.
ES or S?
It's
ES.
Yeah.
50 touches.
We can edit that part out.
Don't bother me, man. I got the handwriting. He's got the grammar, man.
That's all right.
Don't bother me.
All right. So what are your touches per year with this database, okay? Well, you want to think like by air, by land, by sea, right? Because you're putting this info in, and you might have a lot of people, again, from like an organization, if you're part of like PTA, soccer moms, or church, whatever. You might have a bunch of people, their name, but you don't have any of their other info.
Right.
It feels kind of weird to go up and be like, hey, can I get your phone number?
Yeah, no
They're
doubt.
gonna be like, why? Oh, can I get your email and home address too while you're at it?
Yeah, that's weird.
Cool. So so our events are a great way to get that
Right.
contact information, right? We send out event invites by email, by phone, by text, and by mail, and also handouts, right? So again, Mark on our team at church, he handed out flyers to our spring fling event to a bunch of people, and some of them registered. And when they register, it captured their full contact info, and then that goes back into the database. Now they get our emails, our postcard, our calls a couple times a year. They're really hearing from him. That's part of building out 50 touches a year.
Yeah, so we do 4 a year. So if you think about what a touch is, it's just any way that you're getting in front of the clients. That doesn't mean necessarily a phone call, but obviously we have a lot of phone calls with it.
Yep.
So for each client event, think about it. You might be calling them once or twice for that. They're going to get a piece of mail about it. They're going to see it on social media. They're going to get an email about it.
Yep.
So for one client event, really, that's where most of our touches come from. And it's the least salesy thing it could be, because you're not calling them for nothing. You're calling them to give them value.
Right.
So really, 50 divided by 4, really your touches are coming from each client event. It'd be like 12-ish touches from each quarter, right? That are not salesy.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun too. You get to have fun and actually like connect with people, and it's a great value. I mean, like our Christmas movie, for people, they come out, they get a bottle of wine, they get a snack pack for their kids, they get food and a drink, like popcorn and a drink for adults. Tickets are all covered. That would be $120, $150 for a family of 5.
Right.
Easy, right? Going to the movies, getting popcorn, large popcorn and a drink for everybody, getting a bottle of wine.
How you want me to write this? So it's like client events is really where a lot of our touches, but
so the client events are four events a year, but multiple touches built out, right? So you've got the mail, like the actual mail invitation, right? You've got the multiple email invitations. You've got the call and text invitation. So the client events are going to be about 20 touches a year. We can't flip this, can we?
Not really. We can turn it.
That's all right.
We can turn it.
We'll figure it out. We'll squeeze it in there.
Mail. What else? Do we do anything? I mean, would you do social media with it?
Yeah, social media. Yep. So we make a Facebook group on Facebook, obviously, and invite people in there. You can also DM them. Again, you're thinking of every way you can get connected with people so that you can further deepen that relationship, right? Maybe you've met somebody once and you don't see them regularly, but you're friends on social media. You like stuff, comment occasionally. Bam, perfect way. Invite them, and then also DM them. Say, hey, I just want to make sure you saw this event we have coming up. I haven't seen you in a while. I'd love to grab a beer, something like. That's a great way to build a relationship.
Round of golf. Let's go play pickleball. Let's go whatever.
Yep.
Okay.
Cool. And then we do different. So this is really a mix. It's a mix of marketing, high value touches and low value touches, right? So like a low value touch is an email. How many emails do you guys get a day?
Fucking too.
Too many. If I asked you what emails did you read today, you probably wouldn't remember any.
I just delete them.
You wouldn't remember them, right?
I wouldn't.
So emails are low touch point. Not that they're not valuable. We still do them, but they're low value touch point, right?
Right.
A call is a higher value touch point. Mail's a little higher value touch point. Social media is still a pretty low value touch point because people are scrolling through 1,000 things a day online, right?
Mm-hmm.
So let's talk about like pop buys and raffles and stuff like that, right? That's kind of a higher value touch point as well.
That's true.
So you forget about how many emails you get a day, but you don't forget when your realtor shows up 3 days before Thanksgiving with a pumpkin pie on your doorstep, right?
It's true.
That's a high value touch point.
It's true.
Yep.
We go to Costco, paid for by the team, and if you just go by Costco, pick them all up, whatever it is, 20, however many you think are your more A class clients, but it could be like B class too. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, clients are going to do pretty much all your clients, but other than people that maybe you've actually worked with, you should add a bunch of them in too.
Yeah,
if not all of them.
No doubt.
You got to start small, guys. This is kind of built out like how we have it on the team. But if you're just getting started, start with one client event a year. Start small, have like a little picnic or something like that. Maybe the pop by is like I
You'd
don't
probably
know.
be way better off too. Like if you are
Gingerbread,
just starting,
like-
you'd be way better off having one good client event
Right.
compared to like 2 or 3 or 4 trash ones. Like
Yep.
you
that's
want them
probably
to
true.
want to come back next time.
Right. That's
Yeah.
an important part. It has to be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Has to be have them worth coming back.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they will never come back.
You don't want them to feel like they're doing you a favor. Right. You want it to be actually valuable and fun for them.
No doubt.
So pop buys right now we do 1 a year. Again, start with 1 and just build yourself up from there. Start small. We've done Girl Scout cookies before. We've done pumpkin pies.
That's right.
We're probably going to add a couple more as we go. Maybe do 2 or 3 pop buys a year. But yeah, mixing it all up with high value and low value touch points here, right? And then we do the postcards, right? The giveaways.
Yep.
Yep. Want to talk about that? Like the St. Patty's one we just did.
Yeah, I mean, he's asking me about that because the best thing happened when we did that. So, yeah, we do a monthly postcard, right? Each month it'll be catered to whatever that month is. So if it's going into spring, it'll mostly be like spring, themed, right? But our admin came up with a good idea to do a St. Patty's one where all custom made. It's not like some template or something, but she got stickers that you could scratch off, and the idea was it was a St. Patty's scratch off. So whoever would want it on there, you could then drop them off. I think it was Jameson, right?
Mm-hmm.
So a bottle of Jameson. Well, the idea is you could kind of pick too who you wanted to win.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're like, well, that client, they're kind of on the fence. I want to talk to them again, but I've been calling them a lot, like whatever it is. But I want to have a reason to talk to them again.
Right. I want to cement that relationship with them.
Exactly. So that's what we ended up doing. So, if you have a bigger database, you could probably pick more people. For me, I only had a few that made sense to do that for. So that's what I did. And then you can call them a few days later, whether they call you or not, because it says call if you win or whatever to claim your Jameson or whatever. Even if they don't call, you know who won, right? So you can call them and say, hey, did you get that piece of mail? They said, yes. Oh my goodness, I've been actually looking to call you. It's so cool. We won. And believe it or not, I'm like, oh my gosh, like you won.
That's crazy.
No way, right? And I went and dropped them off that bottle of Jameson, and now we're closing in less than 30 days from now. So, and I think that was a big piece, just those creative touches, right? There's no regular realtors doing that, right? You're getting creative with the ways you're getting in front of them. But that's just one piece of the direct mail that goes out once a month. So.
Cool. All right, so we could build that out a little more in depth, but live, we're doing it right here. I don't think we need to go any further. I think that's good.
Reality is you could do a whole video on each one of these things.
Yep.
So this is probably the high level view, the umbrella.
We can always break it down later on.
if just comment down below realistically if you would like to see more in depth, because each one of these things you could easily spend an hour on. Like easily.
And we got 1 hour total.
Exactly. So
cool. So prospecting.
Okay.
So prospecting is something where you are putting sweat equity into it, right? Benefit of prospecting is, again, it's sweat equity. It's little to no money involved. Downside to prospecting is that it's not really scalable.
It's time intensive.
It's time intensive. It's not super scalable. You stop working, you stop generating business, right?
Right. And there's a way to leverage it.
Yeah.
But at the end of the time, if you're doing it yourself, it's taking a lot of time.
Right. You can't really build a business on prospecting. You can do sales on prospecting, but you can't build a business.
Right.
Definition of a business is something that you could take off for a month and it can grow without you.
Yeah.
Right.
Something you can actually sell.
Right.
Right. If you leave the business and you can't sell the business because you're the key man risk, I mean, it's not a business, right?
Yep.
Which most realtors don't have a business. You have a high paying job. You guys know that.
Yep. That's true.
Okay.
Well, that's a whole other video. All right.
It is. These are all
so what are we talking about? We could be doing expired calls. We could be doing for sale by owners.
Let's talk. Okay, so we could do cold. Let's just do.
You could do
cold
calling.
calls.
It could be,
which we do a lot
open
of,
houses.
which we practice. We role play, right? So we role play every morning. So this could be. I'm going to try to keep this small, but we do expireds, right? Circle. Oh, that's terrible. You know what?
Just do your best.
Let's do this. Circle, prospect. I'm not going to write that all out. You know, FSBOs, think about FSBOs / for rent, by owners. What's another one?
Non-owner occupied.
Yeah, think about all the other
distressed
ones.
properties.
Distressed properties, pre-foreclosure.
Yep.
Those are probably the biggest ones. Expireds, FSBOs, and circle prospecting are probably the biggest ones. But we practice those scripts, right?
Yep.
So that's all cold. That's all under cold calling,
Mm-hmm.
right? We practice that. Now, what's another one?
Yeah, open houses.
Yep, that's probably. I mean, not even for just starting. I mean, that's got to be like the easiest way. This is that's the easiest prospecting ever. Take 2 hours out of your Saturday.
Everyone should be crushing open houses. If you're doing less than 30 deals a year, if you're doing 30 deals a year, you should probably be doing open houses. But if you're doing less than 30, you should definitely be crushing 2 open houses per week. Easy.
Yeah, so easy.
Right.
Yeah, and if you don't know how to do that, by the way, look on the MLS, look at your office, look at who has properties listed in your office, look for a house that just came on this week, hopefully, right? That's what you want, this week. Ideally. Because that's how you know, even if it's not the perfect house that you want to, be in that market per se, I'd much rather do a home that's 300,000, even though I'm shooting for 500,000 homes, but it was listed 2 days ago,
right,
compared to a 500,000 home that was listed 2 weeks ago.
Right.
I know for a fact I will have 10 times the amount of buyers in that first house when it's their first week.
But activity beats inactivity. So if the only open house you can get is something that's been on the market for a year, even if one person walks in, that's a better use of your time than watching Netflix.
That's fair.
So,
and that's fair. Yep. Yeah. And by the way, the way to leverage, let's talk about leveraging an open house, right? So, like, what does that mean? Well, like cold calling the neighborhood. Like, duh.
Yep. You can door knock the neighbors. You can cold call the neighborhood, like you said. Drop off market reports to the neighbors.
Right. Door knock. Like, literally, if you just driving into the neighborhood doing an open house, I was just doing this. You see someone outside just like watering their plants or something, like you could literally roll down your window and just, even if you're scared, you could just say hi, right? And then when they see you walk back because you're putting your open house signs down, they're more likely to talk to you because you said something to them first. Like, it's just small things like that.
So an easy way to do that too, just knock out a couple of doors real easily. You're setting up your open houses signs. Let's say you're putting 15 signs out. Door knock the houses that you're putting the sign in front of. You say, hey, I'm a local realtor. We're holding an open house. We're selling your neighbor's house down the street. We're expecting a ton of people. The home that's a really hot listing. Real quick, I just wanted to check. Do you mind if I put the sign like right in your front yard? I'll pick it up later today.
Yeah, no doubt.
Right?
Exactly. It's an easy conversation.
Yep. Hey, by the way, would you let you know what that home sells for? Or you can door knock again after the open house. You pick it up. You go, hey, I just want to let you know we had like 30 people through the open house. We're expecting multiple offers. Only one person can buy that home at the end of the day. Do you know anyone else that I might be able to talk to? Let's think about moving.
Right.
Easy.
Yeah. This actually reminds me of this.
You're doing what you're already doing there.
Yeah.
You might pick up a couple deals a year just doing that, right?
So this kind of plays into circle prospecting, but I mean, cold calling, you should really do that for any and everything, including open houses when you have a listing, blah, blah, blah. But just thinking about cold calling, like, when you have that listing or you have that open house, calling neighbors saying exactly what he just said, as if you were door knocking. Hey, is there any benefit to me letting you know afterwards how busy the open house was and, what the demand is in the neighborhood?
Yep.
So,
by the way, these can all work together, guys, especially this one with these two, right?
Yeah.
So the listing you have, 216 Old Churchman's Road, that sold in 24 hours, right?
Right.
That's on the market on the MLS right now. You guys can look it up. You've found the guy through circle prospecting.
Yeah.
Right? Cold call. And then you've sent him the raffle thing. You went over, you dropped off the bottle of Jameson, you met him in person. He let you look at the house while you were there. And then, 30 days later, you listed it? Something like that.
Probably like 60 days. But yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's definitely proof of concept. I mean, he's been doing this for years, so it's like, talk about proof of concept.
Yeah. Cool. So the biggest thing here, guys, is to do it consistently. And really the path is in the math. So if we're talking about 10 sales a year, let's just say we're doing open houses. Let's say you're crushing open houses. You probably need to do about 4 open houses a month with about 5 people per open house. And then convert about 1 out of every 25 people you meet. I think that math will math. If you want to check it.
Hope so. What was the math again?
My phone's recording.
What's the math again?
2 open houses a month.
So
24 open houses.
Yep, 24.
Oh, sorry, 4 open houses a month. 4.
Yep, 4 times 12, 48.
Times 5. Times 0.04.
9.6.
9. Okay, so 10.
Yeah.
Round up.
Yep.
0.4, 10. Cool. So if you get one sale for every 25 people you meet at an open house, that means you need to do 4 open houses a month, and you need to meet 5 people per open house. Just start with what you have. Start doing the open houses. If you find you've got 8 people per open house, cool. That means maybe you can cut back a little bit. If you find that you're getting 3 people per open house, okay, maybe we need to do 5 a month, right? But the path is in the math. The numbers will
Right.
work out.
Right. Yeah, no doubt.
Cool.
What other kind of prospecting can you think of? I mean, like networking,
Mm-hmm.
but in what way? Like,
Social media is a form of prospecting if you do it the right way.
okay.
The problem with social media is most people, and I mean, I'm obviously not the best person to talk about this, although we're getting better. But I know how to
getting
do
a lot better.
Just because I haven't done it doesn't mean I don't know how to do it to an extent, right? And I can tell you most people post like just listed, and they post it
Canva templates,
Once
baby.
a month.
Canva templates.
once a month, and nobody sees it. And not only does nobody see it, but it also hurts your algorithm, so less people see things in the future because it's not engaging content, and you're not posting. Maybe you could do that if you're posting a lot of personal stuff too, getting a lot of engagement. Then when you post your just listed thing,
Yeah.
like more people see it.
Yeah.
But the bottom line is you're not doing it consistently and you're not doing it purposefully,
Yeah.
right? So if you're doing social media, it's got to be like, here's my calendar. Okay,
Right.
Monday, like we shoot video. Tuesday, I chop it up and I send it out. I post it here and here and here. Wednesday, I do this, right? Like it has to be consistent.
Yeah. Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah.
Exactly. Social media, cold prospecting on there. Could be DMing people,
Mhm.
right? Just asking how they are, start a conversation.
Yep.
Also, though, if you do post something, especially if it's value based, you could send that video to a lot of your friends and just say,
Mhm.
hey, can you repost this for me? Like it means so much to me if you could repost this, whatever it is. And a lot of your friends would be like, duh, of course,
Yep.
they got you, right?
Yep.
So just
By
get
the
in
way,
front
the
of
social media also plays into this, right?
But
It's a
realistically,
live referral.
time out though, like newer realtor, like don't rely on that. Like
No.
up here is like
Yeah.
the very you can stay consistent, can
Yep.
track the numbers real easy.
Yep.
This is something like do on top when you're doing the showings. Make sure you're making sure you're always looking busy,
Mhm.
but don't be like, oh well, I posted a couple times this week, so like
Nobody's
I don't have to do
calling
the
me.
prospecting.
Right.
Like realistically, like calling, make sure your calls,
Mhm.
your open houses, like do the hard stuff. I
Yep.
get it, but do the hard stuff.
Yep.
I feel like
What
we've
was I
got to
gonna
be
say?
forgetting prospecting stuff. I mean, like networking. What kind of networking can we do?
You can do different networking. It kind of just like starts to blur the line too with like SOI stuff because
That
if
is
you're doing
true.
like
That's true.
networking, again, you're part of like some club or group
Yeah.
or something like that. Like those people should all, and same with social media. When I'm talking about social media, I'm talking about cold audiences, right? When we're talking about this bucket, I want to know who did you not know before you had them as a follower or friends on social media and they reached out to you and they became a client, right?
Right.
People all the time are like, oh, I do great with social media. No, you do great with your SOI on social media, right?
Amen.
That's an important distinction.
That's true.
Yep. Cool.
Yep.
All right. Wrap it up there. And then we got to look at the hours on everything here after we build it out
Yeah, no doubt. Okay.
because we promised them 30 hours a week.
Yeah. Okay. Advertising, marketing. Some of you probably listen to this. Oh, dude, I don't have money for ads.
Mhm.
But like, we're talking about joining into a system, right?
Yep.
Where
Or if you're on your own, start somewhere. Start with these two. Okay. You got to start small. If you're just getting started and you really don't have a penny to your name, like I did, start here. Do this. I was crushing open houses. I was calling for sale by owners. I didn't have money to get expired data, but I was doing a lot of for sale by owners. I was doing a lot of open houses, door knocking when I was 21 years old out there in a suit and tie in the summer, sweating my ass off. Wasn't fun.
and now he's 22, fellas.
Yep.
I'm just like,
I wish. What were we saying? Yeah, so start somewhere, right? Maybe you crush like 20 here your first year, and then you have a little more money to do. This one you can do anytime, right? You can.
this has to start
It's
like
very
now.
scalable. Yeah,
Yeah,
you got to start.
this is
that
something you're
now,
gonna build
right off the bat. This should be your first couple sales. This should be your second couple sales. This should be like the third thing you add in,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
But talk a little about advertising and marketing because you're doing great with that, right? It's your first year in real estate. You'll probably close 10 just from this bucket here,
Yeah, that's true.
right? Like you're
Um,
living proof right here.
Yeah, that's true.
And
Well,
would you say you've worked like a lot on
dude,
marketing and advertising?
I should have worked so much harder. I'm still mad at my. I mean, listen, whatever.
It's not that hard, right? The leads come in, you call them,
No, the
you
leads
follow
come
up
in,
with
you
them,
call them.
you set an appointment, and you close them.
Yeah, it's easy. I mean,
Yep.
it's money's in the follow up, right? But it's also in just
Mhm.
being quick.
Yep.
Right. The lead comes in.
Yep.
I used to think, well, man, I wish the leads would just come in, sit in your bucket, and then you can call them like a day or two from now, and you're less busy. Like reality is, there's so much power in just calling them right now.
Speed to
Something
lead.
comes in.
Yep.
Like if you call them right then and there, your close rates go up a
Mhm.
lot. So,
Yep.
anyways, for us, right? Just my experience.
Mhm.
I mean, we use a
Right,
real estate platform
Realtor.com.
that sends us leads, right?
Yeah, we use
Um,
Movoto. And we
Movoto.
use Realtor.com.
Yep.
And we've done Facebook and Google, and we have a couple of those too.
Yeah.
So we have a little bit of everything.
Yeah,
We
exactly.
tested out a lot of stuff here. This is a really good bucket because it's infinitely scalable, right? So we're talking about this one's scalable to a certain extent, right? Because you can grow your SOI, and these two buckets feed this bucket, right? So as you go in the business, maybe year 2, maybe year 3, whatever, you're doing more over here and less over here. But you can't call your friends and your family and say, hey, give me a referral, right?
Yeah.
It's not as scalable. This one, if you're just churning and burning open houses, cold calling, like I said, the path is in the math, right? You need to figure out your number, and you need to work backwards, and then you need to do your actions, right? That's all there is to it.
Right.
Same with this one. And it's cool because, well, the downside is it is expensive. It's very expensive. But the upside is it's infinitely scalable, right? If you have a check, you can cut the check. And it happens, for the most part, automatically, where you could have leads coming in while you're in a hospital bed, which isn't going to happen over here, right?
Right. I mean, our conversion on the bottom funnel leads, so someone that clicked like contact an agent, is probably like 5%. And 5% is actually might actually be on the low side, to be honest. Like
that's pretty good.
That is good. That is
good.
But like, I think me and you could probably convert higher.
We could do better.
Yeah. But that's just that's a game of following up. Like that's a game of when they come in, you call them, and a game of following up, and then just booking the appointment, right? Some objection handlers and stuff. But shoot for 5%, right? So bottom of the funnel, once again, is like someone clicked contact an agent, whatever.
Yep.
Top of the funnel stuff is kind of like, have you had any thoughts of downsizing? Put some information in, but they're not like a live transfer or it's very like
they're
early.
Not saying I want to talk to an agent right now.
Yeah, it's very early in the journey. That's going to be less than 5%. No doubt.
Yep.
Okay.
So again, the path is in the math.
How can we build this out?
So 10 sales a year. Let's do the conversion we had before, right? 10 sales a year at 5% conversion. So what does that equal?
10 sales a year, 5% conversion.
Right.
Dude, I'm going to pull a calculator out.
Use the calculator.
Come on, bro. So we got 10 sales times 5%
would be 1 out of 20.
Which would be 0.5.
So you need 200?
What are you talking about?
Go ahead.
That's what I did. I said 10 times 5%.
No.
So you're saying
you have to do 10 divided by 5%.
10 divided by 5%.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
Because it's, okay. Yeah. 10 divided by 5%. Yeah, it is 200.
200. Cool. 200 leads
so
a year.
You need to take 200 leads a year.
200 leads a year, so that's what, 18 a month?
Right. Which, if you're a newer agent, I would assume you're on a team, to be honest.
You should be.
You should be.
You should be.
Because you kind of need your hand held in a lot of ways. I still need my hand held. Like, that's just straight up. And agents are pretty notorious for thinking they're the hot shit.
Yep.
Like, let's be real. You do like a couple sales, and you're like, I got this now. But then I still find myself calling Rakan at like 9 p.m. at night. He's like, dude, what do you want? And I'm like,
I see people.
I have this question.
I see people all the time who sold like 10 homes, and then they're like a mentor, or they're like they start their own team. I'm like, chill out.
It's very easy to do.
Chill out.
It's very easy to do. I understand it, but
all right. So back to this. Stupid. 200 leads a year. That's like 18-ish a month, roughly.
Yeah.
Cool. So 18 a month. So that's gonna be about $1,000 a month, probably.
Yeah.
Right.
So I know you guys are listening like $1,000 a month, shaking in your boots right now. Yep. First off, a lot of teams do offer that, but if you can't do that, you need to double this.
Yeah.
So I don't understand.
Or start smaller here. Maybe you start with like 2 sales a year here, right? Start where you can.
Right.
Start really small.
Right.
But you're gonna have to get used to investing money, right? You have to invest money in this business, in any business.
It's any
right?
Yeah, exactly.
This is the only place where you don't have to invest hardly any money. But again, that's not a real business. Cool.
Yeah.
Here you're gonna have to invest money. You can do a lot for free just with the relationships and stuff, but you're gonna want to do mailers. You're gonna want to do events. You're gonna want to do pop-bys. Maybe you're gonna want to pay people to help you with social media, stuff like that. You're gonna have to spend money there, and you're gonna have to spend money here, right?
Yeah.
There's no way around it.
By the way, okay, talking about that, just leveraging this. I was going to say this earlier. Yes, you can leverage cold calling. You can buy, hire a VA or something. But you should be doing this first before you hire someone.
Oh yeah.
For one, because you need to learn that to teach them.
Yep.
That's just the truth. But also, like, this is your best return on investment, especially newer in the game. But even if you're not newer, like, he still cold calls.
Yep.
And it's because you might be leveraging a listing or leveraging an open house or something.
Yep.
It's worth the time, especially if you know how to do it, if you're role playing.
Yep. Yep. And I like, as a team leader, I want to stay sharp, and I don't want to tell the team to do anything I'm not doing. Right. I want to lead from the front. So anyway, so these are usually, guys, you find a lead source, you learn about conversion, you practice your scripts, you come up with a follow-up process like a drip campaign, email, text, call, like you follow the plan, right? You got to work them. That comes in. Let's say, what do you think it would take? How much time do you think a month it would take to work 18 leads a month?
Yeah, realistically, I mean,
we're just talking about like the actual lead and then like the calls. We'll talk about like showings and stuff like that after that. The lead comes in, let's say it's like a 5-minute phone call with each lead.
Yeah.
Right.
And then you sit down with each one of those.
Well, you're not going to meet with each
one.
18.
Right. But let's just say you convert 1 out of 3, which is not convert 1 out of 3, but you sit down with,
so 18 a month is about 5 a week.
Right.
So how much time does it take to get 5 Movoto leads a week? 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Right. 20 minutes. Okay.
It's hard to quantify.
And then you got some follow-up. It's hard to quantify, but we're guesstimating 20 minutes plus, ongoing follow-up, stuff like that. Let's say like an hour a week here.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, like your first call, yeah.
Hour a week.
So should I put it like this? Or let's just see.
Yep. Cool. Open houses, 4 hours a week, right?
Yeah.
1 open house a week, 4 hours, pretty conservative estimate there.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Okay.
I mean, realistically, the actual open house itself might take 2 hours, then just between setting up signs, taking signs down, whatever.
Yep.
Give yourself an extra hour.
Half hour setup, half hour breakdown.
Yeah.
Travel time.
And in all honesty, the reason we're playing on the high side is because actually it could even be as much as 5 hours, to be honest, because if you're door knocking and stuff like that, you could take more time with that. But,
that's true. But we're just looking at strictly open houses.
Yeah.
That would be even more, right? You'd have a couple extra sales probably if you're door knocking around it.
Yeah, you would. Yeah.
Cool.
Yep.
All right. And then SOI. So initially that's going to take some time to build out that database, but still not that much time. How much time do you honestly think you need to build a database to export your phone contacts, start going through them, use some of the scripts we use on our team to call and introduce, not introduce yourself, but let them know you're in real estate in a non-salesy way, or maybe invite them to a client event.
Right. And another script too, just because we're talking about it, say, hey, I'm, just joined the team, or I'm a newer real estate agent, just for some practice. I would love to do a CMA, which you might not call it a CMA, but I'd love to, give you a market analysis or a market estimate. But that's a different thing.
Yep.
How much time would that take? I mean, doing the actual export itself takes no time.
It's going to take a couple days, a couple hours on a couple days. So you're 2 hours a day for a week or two. You probably knock that whole thing out.
For the normal person.
Just for the initial database, right?
Right.
Once they have it built, all this stuff is a lot easier to just implement throughout the year.
Yeah, so
just
to preface, like your first week, you might spend like 5 to 10 hours on it. But like every week after that, where you actually talk to them at least once on the phone, everybody on at least once on the phone, I mean, what, like an hour a week or something? Like,
Yeah, probably not even.
just,
I mean,
just in
implementing
terms of
this all,
following
if
up the
you're
database.
if you're starting small and you have a small database and you're starting with like one client event a year, maybe you do a postcard a month, you do quarterly calls, maybe email market report, you're probably spending like a couple hours a week on this.
Yeah. Okay.
And if you're on the team and all that's done for you and all you got to do is make the calls, you're not even
I
spending
was gonna say,
an hour a week.
for me personally, I spend like no time
Right.
on the actual emails, the mail. The calls are literally the only thing. The
Yeah.
Popeyes, like I basically just go pick up the pies. I don't like have to worry about that.
Every quarter, you probably spend 5 hours
Yeah.
a quarter.
Yeah. I mean, realistic. Yeah.
So let's say if you're doing this all yourself, let's say like 2 hours a week here.
Yeah.
I think that's more than generous.
Yeah. No, I agree. 2 hours a week. Really, this should have a H.
So what's our total here? 4, 6.
So we didn't put hours for this though. I mean,
We didn't, but that'd be additional. Right, we're building this out, the model with the open houses, 4 hours a week to make 10 sales. If you wanted to add in cold calling, something like that, it'd
realistically,
be additional hours, but you can.
I'm just gonna put it on here because let's just say it's interchangeable.
Mhm.
Like you could do cold calling
Yep.
or
Probably about 5 hours a week.
yeah. I mean, if you're calling 1 hour a day, and
Mhm.
and you could almost just round this up, but
Yeah.
let's just call that 4. So you could choose one of these two.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
Consistency though, not like 1 week you're doing them,
yes.
and then the next week you're not. If you're actually doing the open
Every day,
houses,
day in, day out.
just because it's in your calendar
Mm-hmm.
but you don't do it doesn't mean you did it. So
Yep.
that's the only way you're gonna get to the 30 sales.
So we've got 4 hours, 1 hour, 5, plus 2, 7 hours a week. Okay.
7 hours a week.
So, guys, the way this works is if you have to discipline equals freedom, right? I think we had a whole podcast on that.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was the whole thing, but we talked about it for a little bit, right?
Yeah.
This, if you're doing this cold calling, that 5 hours could easily be 15 hours a week. You can make that 3 hours a day and get the same amount done that you can in 1 hour a day if you're really disciplined and focused with your time, right?
Yeah, because you're not getting up and using the bathroom much every time, making 5 different coffee. Well, I'm all for the coffees to be fair, but
That's
talking
right.
to other people in office, the office, which
Yep.
realtors are notorious for.
Yep.
Right?
We're
Cleaning
not
your
perfect.
house, you work at home, you're like, some reason, like I
Your
kind of want
dog's
to clean
gotta
the
go
house right now.
out.
Yeah.
Your dog's got to go out. You check the fridge, make some food. That's how an hour, you check social media, Facebook, an hour stretches into 3 hours and you don't get anything done.
Yeah.
My
You got
legs
light
are flickering in
or
here.
something.
Cool.
So
So 7 hours
7
a
hours.
week of actual dedicated, focused, disciplined prospecting time, right?
So let's just say
That leaves
all
you
these-
23 hours a week for showings, negotiation, paperwork, admin work, anything like that, which I think is more than generous. That's enough time to go on, let's say you're showing houses 15 hours a week. So you've got 8 hours left, right? You've got some buyer consults, you've got listing appointments. What the hell is going on here?
Dude, maybe it's actually pretty bad outside. I don't know.
You got some buyer consults, you've got some listing appointments, you've got, well, you had said 15 hours a week for showings, which is probably pretty high. Most realtors, probably 99%, aren't showing homes 15 hours a week, right? That's a decent amount of showings. So you got 8 hours a week left after your showings and your prospecting.
Could be literally
You got
anything.
8 hours a week
Admin,
left
putting
for
out fires, everything like that.
negotiating, putting out fires, all that kind of stuff.
Yep.
So this really isn't that hard. Is anything on here
So
crazy,
let's
complicated?
just to put it actually in, just to put everything actually into. So you got 7 hours of
Mhm.
prospecting / like
Yep.
call it just prospecting,
Right.
which is all of this stuff.
7 hours lead gen and follow up.
Lead gen would have been
That's
better.
fine.
And then you have like,
You know what I mean.
let's just call 15 hours of showing / what? Like
Appointments.
Appointments.
Yep.
Yeah.
Listing appointment.
Yep. And then the other's like, so what's that? 22. So you got the next 8 hours.
Mm-hmm. Putting out
What's
fires, picking up lock boxes, whatever
fires,
you got to do.
Admin.
Yep. Doing paperwork.
Yeah. That's, yeah. Exactly. 30 solid hours of the week.
30 solid hours. That's the thing. That's where people end up working 60 hours a week, selling 20 houses a year because they're not focused during that time, right?
Yeah.
They're not really purposeful and intentional at that time.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah. So there you have it, guys. 30 sales, 30 hours a week. This is all stuff. Nothing in here is like groundbreaking, some new, like, we're in real estate, okay? We're doing the same things that people have always done. And someone has done it before you, and they've done it, and they've probably broken it down to a model, to math, to numbers for you, right? We're in real estate. We're not Google. We're not Facebook. We're not OpenAI. There's no like new frontier, anything like that.
Right.
It's all simple stuff that's been done before.
Yeah, no
So,
doubt. I agree.
Cool.
This is awesome.
All right, we'll wrap it up there. We'll probably make this into like an ebook or something if you guys want. I'll put a link in the description for anyone to download it that's interested in.
The reality of it is, like, this is obviously, like we said earlier, pretty surface level in
Mhm.
terms of, yes, we're talking about, you know, I might say SOI referral, but okay, what does each one of these things look like? What does that email say? What do those calls look like?
Yep.
Realistically, we got to make a video on
Yeah, we will.
each one of these, but
We have this all built out. We have the scripts, the email, the postcards, the pop by, the everything, the mail. We have the scripts for all this and the follow-up system. Same thing here. That's all built out.
Yep.
We have it all done.
Yep.
So we'll dig into all these on a more detailed level on later episodes. But hopefully this was inspiring for somebody. Hopefully it sparked a little thought of like, hey, I can do this. It's not overwhelming, right? That's why I like this being balanced here, because like 30 sales prospecting, that'd be a lot.
Yeah.
It could be done, but it's hard. That's very few and far between, right?
Oh, no doubt.
That someone's going to spend. If you're doing 5 hours a week, that's 15 hours a week of cold calling.
Yeah,
right?
I mean that's tough.
That's
for
tough.
Sure.
Yeah.
Definitely got to work on this bucket. That's for sure.
Yep.
That's like,
Or that
as a
would be,
realtor, that's the closest thing you can get to having a business per se.
right? Or if you were doing open houses, that'd be 3 open houses per weekend.
Yeah, it'd
Right.
be tough.
That'd be tough.
But you could do that.
It can
You
be
could
done.
do that. You could do a Friday,
Yeah, if
Saturday,
you're a killer,
Sunday.
do it.
So you could do that.
That's great. Not hating on that. That's awesome. But this is a really well balanced business that has the pros and cons of each of these buckets, and it's going to set you up for success.
Yeah.
So
Awesome.
cool. We'll wrap it up there. Hope you guys enjoyed. Tune into the next one. They'll be out next Tuesday.
Yeah, no doubt. Check out one of our other videos. We have another one that was 10 reasons or 10 ways to 100% fail in
Yep.
real estate.
10 ways to guarantee failure in real estate.
Yeah, we have another one. We actually do have
Chat GPT.
exactly.
Yep.
And then we have showing SOP. So if you don't, nobody really talks about it,
Mhm.
but what to actually say, what the goals are, what's the
Yep.
point of doing a showing as a realtor, we actually have that one up
Yep.
too, I believe.
How can you be efficient with your time with showings, working with buyers, right?
Yeah, because there's no way this. I mean, actually, I'm sure there's are a lot of you doing 15 hours worth of showings,
Mm-hmm.
but maybe getting a third of the output as a realtor that's
Yep.
maybe knows what they're
Be
doing
more-
when they're doing a showing, right? Setting expectations before the showing, but also at the showing as well.
Mhm.
So
Be more effective at it.
that's
Yep.
another good one for you guys to watch.
All right. Cool. We'll wrap
Yep.
it up there.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys.